Hey everybody, Amy Roberts here from raisingarrows.net, and this is the Raising Arrows YouTube channel where I share all things large family homemaking and homeschooling. Make sure that you subscribe so that you don't miss any of my videos. And today we are going to be talking about Advent and some large family Advent traditions that we have had going for years and years. I'm going to share what we do, but I'm also going to give you some ideas so that you can make it your own, because some of these things you may either not have available, either they're so old because we've had them so long that you're not going to be able to get them, or you just want to do something different. I'm going to give you some ideas on how to make these traditions your own and how to create some special memories for your family during this Advent season. So stay tuned. All right, so first of all, you are in my living room. It is a Saturday morning here, so things are a little slow. The kids actually were just putting together a puzzle. I'll swing this over here. There's our fireplace. They have a card table set up in the living room a few times a week. They will set this up. Sometimes we'll leave it in there for an entire week. During the winter, mostly. We do sometimes do it in the summer too, but during the winter, we have a puzzle going and the kids are able to enjoy that, something to do while it's a little bit colder outside. Now, lately, it's been really nice outside, so we've been going outside a lot more, but last night they asked if they could put a puzzle out, so that's what's over there. And last week after Thanksgiving, we put up our tree. So here's our lovely tree. I like to have it in front of the window because I love seeing other people's trees in front of their windows as I drive by. And so this is kind of for me when I pull up into the driveway and for other people when they drive by our house. So we are talking today about some things that you can do to create some Advent traditions of your own with your children. And I want to start with the littlest of your children, because this was something I did years ago when I had one or two kids, and it has been something that we have continued through the years, and that is having toys, Advent toys, at the foot of the tree that is for the children to play with. Because the original thought here was that they were going to want to touch all the ornaments, and I did not want them to touch the ornaments, and so I wanted to give them something they could touch right underneath the tree so that they could enjoy the tree, but so that they would have something that was their own, and it would not be a constant, no, don't touch that, no, don't do that. I wanted there to be some yes under the tree, and so that is where we start today. So I'm going to show you this real quick, and then I'll do a photo for you too so that you can see it a little bit better. But you can see right down there, that is our Little People FisherPrice Nativity. And we've had that, goodness, probably 10 years now. And it's always been under the tree. And prior to that, we just had some little Christmas-like figurines that were under the tree that the kids could play with. And that way, if you have a child who is kind of prone to want to touch the tree or prone to want to touch the gifts, it teaches them that they can be near the tree and they can play with things that are under the tree, but that they don't need to touch the pretties on the tree. And it is a little bit of a training opportunity, but it's also something special that is just for them. And so you want to encourage that. You want them to know that this is your special toy. These are things that you can play with. This particular set has like Mary and Joseph and the wise men and some animals. And they're real chunky, so they're great for little bitty hands, and they're not going to break, and they can play with them. But I do encourage them to keep it under the tree, not to take it all over the house. And that goes as well for our Playmobil set. Our Playmobil set was given to us by my sister years and years ago. I think my oldest was maybe 3 or 4, and it has always sat out at Christmas time on a lower like dresser or end table or something along those lines so that my kids could play with it. Now they do have a bare bones set of this Playmobil that's a whole lot less expensive, but my sister kind of went all out and bought us all kinds of extra things that went with it, and so that's been fun. But the kids have played and played and played with that for years and years. When I last looked at Amazon, the Little People set was like $42. So I realized that's kind of steep for a nativity for kids to play with, but maybe it'll go on a sale. And then the Playmobil set was also $42 for the bare bones set. But if you don't want to do something like that, there are plenty of other options out there. Look for a nativity set, like a chunky nativity set or a set for little kids, something along those lines. When you're searching, you're basically looking for something that little hands can play with and not break. You're looking for something that you can set out during the Christmas season that is very special just for them, that they can play with over and over again. And you are looking for something that is going to encourage them to play with that instead of the ornaments and the presents. The next thing we do is a countdown to Christmas, and this is something that is always fun for the kids because it helps them to see just how far away Christmas is, how close Christmas is, and it's something that they can do every single night. And I'll talk in a little bit about what our nightly routine looks like, but we have several different ways of counting down to Christmas. And of course you have things like advent calendars that hang on the wall, where I think when I was a kid we had one that I moved this little mouse over, but we do these chocolate advent calendars. These come from Aldi. If you don't grab them up as soon as they show up in the store, there aren't any left. We even got one for our dog, but these are just simple little tiny doors that have chocolates in them. And what I do is I have the kids write their names on each one so that we can keep them separated. And then during the day, if you look up there, you can kind of see them up on top of that pie safe. Up there is where we keep them so that the kids aren't getting into them, or the dog isn't getting into them. And we just stack them up there. And then during family worship time at night, we pull them out as part of our family worship time. So that's one way that we count down, because each of the little flaps has a number on it, so we can count down to Christmas. Another thing that we do is a advent calendar app, and it is from Jackie Lawson. This is something I discovered last year. She had a Nordic Christmas last year that had all these little gnomes, and it was so cute and so fun that we decided we were definitely going to do it again this year. She has a different one every single year. This year the theme is London. And so we are going through the city of London, and we are picking up ornaments, and we're at each day a new date and event and place to visit opens up on the app so that you can see them. There's a Christmas tree to decorate, there's a home to decorate, there's a snowflake to change, there's games, all kinds of things like that. And we really, really, really enjoy this app. And that is only $5. And what I do is I will screen share it up to our TV, and that way everybody can see it and we can play together. Another thing that we do that has been with us for probably 22 years or so is something I can't find. Oh, it's back here. This little guy. So this is something my mother-in-law bought for us years and years ago. It's from Avon. The Snowman talks. I'll play it for you.
Each day, place an ornament on this tree to know how many days there are left till Christmas.
Okay, so that is what he does, and there are holes in the tree, and there are ornaments in his little bag, and I'll show you. They are just cute little ornaments, and they have a stick thing on the back, and you push it in there, and when you push it in there, it activates it to know that one more day has gone by. And so the kids take turns with that. Now I'll explain real quickly about the taking turns, because that is something that we do in our family a lot, because there's a lot of kids, so they have to take turns. What we do is we always start with the youngest. We have always done that because we figure that as you get older, you're more and more patient and you're more able to wait. And at some point here, I'm probably going to have the baby wait too. She's 5 now. She's not much of a baby anymore, so she's going to have to learn how to be patient as well. But currently what we do is we always start with the youngest and we work our way up to the oldest. So I guess she has to wait while it's the oldest one's turns. So during family worship time, the child who is in charge for that night will be the one who does our Jessie tree ornaments, which I'll show you here in a second. They'll be the one who does the snowman ornament. And it seems like there's something else. They are also the one who gets to play with the Advent app that I just showed you. So that night, it's their turn to do all the things. And a lot of times they'll also get to feed Kip, our dog, his Advent treat. So it's a special night for each of them. And then every day it rotates to the next kid. So also in this Advent countdown is something I just mentioned, the Jessie tree ornaments. And we use Unwrapping the Greatest Gift from Ann Voskamp. I have a terrible shadow there. And a couple of years ago, I bought the ornaments that her son was selling. He is not selling them anymore, and I think I know why. But these are really cool. They're wooden cutout ornaments, kind of in the German style of these wood cutouts, and then they have the picture that is currently that day's picture that goes along with the book. Now, I think possibly the reason he's not selling these anymore, and I don't know for sure, he did get married, so that may be it too, but they are quite fragile. So as you can see, we have broken some, and that's just kind of the way it goes. But it's unfortunate, and so at some point I may have to replace these, but I keep them in this cute little basket. And each day, the child whose turn it is, they get to pick out the ornament, and they go around and they show it to everybody so everybody can see their cool ornament that they have. And while I'm reading from Unwrapping the Greatest Gift, they are sharing that ornament, and then they go and put it on our tree. Now, there are lots and lots of Advent countdown types of things and Jessie trees. There's lots of free ones. If you check out my Advent post about the different free devotionals that you can find for this season, that's going to be down in the description. And you can just click over there and you can see all the different ones that I have personally used and that I feel like were worth mentioning. Some of them are not free, but there's a lot of them that are, and a lot of them have free ornaments that go with them. In fact, I think Unwrapping the Greatest Gift also has free ornaments on her website. Way back in the day, she actually had this Jessie tree devotional free. It wasn't quite like this. It was a lot more bare bones, but that was how we first got introduced to the Jessie tree, is that Ann Voskamp had this free devotional and these free ornaments, and I had downloaded those. And we've done it every year since. But the Jessie tree is unique. If you've never heard of it, it's been around for quite some time. But the Jessie tree is unique because it starts at the beginning of the Bible and it works its way up, showing how the need for a savior has been woven throughout time and history. And it's just been a really great lesson for our family, and it has been something that we have enjoyed year after year, and I anticipate that we probably will always do some form of Jessie tree during the Advent season, because it is so important to weave that story for your children, for them to see that from the very beginning God had a plan for Jesus to come to this earth. So if you are looking for Advent countdown calendars, one place I found a lot of different options at some decent prices. Some were expensive, but Wayfair had some really good options there. You might check after Christmas too if you haven't gotten started now. They might have some that would be a good option, or be looking for sales where you could get one for next year. This is a very good hands-on tradition, especially for a large family, where you can work your way through and each child can have a turn. Another thing that we do during the Christmas season is put out Christmas candy. Every Friday after we have cleaned the house, the kids are allowed to put out Christmas candy. And we have a special dish that this dish right here. During the fall, we also do this, and we have a leaf bowl, but this is our Christmas one. And I buy special Christmas candy, and every Friday they're allowed to dump one of those bags into the candy dish, and it sits out in the living room, and they're able to get some candy. It's kind of a special treat for having made it through the week and cleaned up the house. Friday's kind of our party day anyway, and so that's why we do that on Friday. We also, like I told you before, we also have candy during the Christmas season from our Advent calendar. And periodically, we will also do things like making gingerbread houses out of graham crackers and frosting, and we'll have some special Christmas cookies here and there. On decorating day, which is the day that we decorate the house right after Thanksgiving, and Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, we definitely have more sweets during those times. So if you are a Christmas candy family, I would suggest that you keep it within some parameters and boundaries. So like for us, it's one day a week that the candy comes out. It's not all the time that the candy bowl is being filled. And granted, in a large family, the candy doesn't last very long. So I don't feel too bad about letting them have candy, because nobody's going to just gorge themselves on the candy, because, you know, it has to last through everybody. And so I'm okay with that. So if you are a Christmas candy family, make sure that you're kind of coming up with some parameters. And as far as like these little calendars, they are very small little chocolates, and they're getting one of them an evening, and I'm okay with that. Okay, and then finally, our family worship time at night. Now, I try to do family worship time all throughout the year, but it seems like I'm not as consistent throughout the year as I am during the Advent season. I think the reason for that is that we are counting down to Christmas, and we have all these things that we're doing, and the kids really enjoy it. It is the one time of year that we allow Christmas hymns during our family worship time, and so everybody is super excited about that time, and they will remind me, and I'm trying to go ahead and, you know, go through the devotional that we're doing and make sure that we're doing every single day, and so I'm way more consistent with family worship time during Christmas. I'm going to try to do better on that in the upcoming year. But I wanted to share with you what we're doing during the Advent season for our family worship time. We usually gather together here in the living room, and we will usually start out with a hymn. We bought hymnals off of eBay. These are hymnals that we were familiar with from when my oldest son was a baby, and so we bought a whole smattering of those hymnals. We've kind of collected them over the years as they've come available on eBay, and we keep them in our living room on the floor over there. And so one of the children will pass out the hymnals to everyone, and then we will start with a Christmas hymn that somebody has chosen. After that, Ty will read, that's my husband, he will read from the Bible lesson that correlates with the Jesse tree. So in Unwrapping the Greatest Gift, there is scripture in here, and he will either read from here or he will read from his own Bible and read through that section of the story, and then I will read the actual text that she has written. And then we'll ask the questions, and we'll talk about what we can do during this Advent season based on the things that are in the book, the questions and the ideas that are in the book. And we'll talk about that a little bit. And then we will usually sing one or two more Christmas hymns of the kids' choosing. And then whoever is the child of the night gets to put the ornament in the snowman. And they also get to put up the Jesse tree ornament like I had mentioned earlier. And then everybody gets to have their candy from their Advent calendar. And then we'll usually, if we haven't played on the Advent app in the morning during homeschool morning time, we will play on the app that night and give everybody kind of a chance. But it's really the child of the night really gets to do most of the stuff during that time frame. And then somebody will gather up the hymnals, they'll put them away, we'll put the Advent calendars away, we'll put the snowman away, and everybody will settle in for the night. I did want to mention one other thing that we are doing during this time that is not usually every single night, but it's usually on Sunday and it's the Advent candles that we light. This is something that was done in my church when I was a kid, and for years I have been looking for a way to implement this into our family without it being a colossal mess or scary thing, because candles can sometimes be a scary thing. What we ended up doing last year, let me see if I can grab this. Last year, I bought this. And I got this off of eBay. It was a gentleman who was making these. It came with everything. The wood here has a little divot in it for the candles. These are, you know, nice and chunky, nice and sturdy. It's one little board and all of the Advent candles are there. I had tried the tapers and they kept falling over. I couldn't find a good place to put them where they weren't feeling dangerous to me. This is nice and sturdy and safe. And so every Sunday of Advent, we light our candle. We are currently doing the Minnow Advent devotional. That's Minno. They have a really neat devotional that also has a video that goes with it. And so that's what we're doing on Sundays during Advent, is lighting our candle and going through the Minnow devotional. And then sometimes during morning time, we're also lighting the candle, and Minnow has some extra things that we can do. And I will do some of those during school time as well. So if you do an Advent wreath and light Advent candles, I would highly suggest, with a bunch of little kids, that you find a way that is nice and safe and is going to be sturdy and not fall over and not be dangerous to your family. And this was a good option for us. Now, one last thing I want to mention is the fact that I have a Christmas Eve candlelight service for your family that is absolutely free. It goes through the story of Jesus being born with scripture and hymns to match. We also light our Christ candle on that night, and we do use candles then as a family. But there are some other options that you can do where you just have some of the LED candles that everybody could hold, and they turn those on at the end of the service. But the idea is that Jesus has come. He is the light of the world, and then we share that light with others. And it goes through the entire story with scriptures and hymns. It's a great thing to share on Christmas Eve with your family after the sun goes down and you're just settling in for the night and really refocusing your hearts on the Lord. So you can get that in the description down below. There's a link there for you to get that free candlelight service for your Christmas Eve to share with your family. All right, friends, I hope that gave you some ideas for your Advent season based on what we're doing. This is something that you can build on and create your own family traditions. Go check out raisingarrows.net for more large family homemaking and homeschooling resources, and I will see you next time.